The way of the purified is a balanced mixture of intense action and deep introspection. Your characters probably aren't spending much time meditating on their inner selves. But when they get the chance to relax between battles with demons and lycanthropes, they might want to think about what holidays they want to celebrate. After all, it is important for the purified to reflect on what the silver flame means to them on occasion. But there are also times where their duty to defend the innocent against evil threats is too great to pass up. The faith of the silver flame has few holidays, but a wide variety of minor and major rites that vary greatly in importance. Minor rites to the silver flame are uncommon and serve special purposes. Usually when priests or other purified seek to accomplish very specific goals, they are considered ritual magic, although they do not produce any obvious spell effects. Minor rituals exist entirely for purification and normally apply to any one of 4 separate circumstances described below. Burial of the faithful. The Church of the Silver Flame does not believe in long or ornate funeral services. They do not forbid them, but they are primarily secular gatherings. The religious aspect is relatively short. A funeral consists of a small series of prayers over the body or gravesite asking the silver flame to forgive any lingering impurities in the deceased. Soul accepted as a new part of the divine flame. Silverburn-enhanced candles illuminate the corpse or gravesite, onto which silver dust is sprinkled. These are symbolic gestures, intended to keep any evil spirits away from the soul until the flame takes it in. Death of the foe. When a purified slays a creature of evil, such as an outsider or lycanthrope, tradition requires that she perform a brief rite over the body. These include prayers to the flame while sprinkling silver dust into the eyes of the deceased. If the purified lacks silver dust, drawing the symbol of the silver flame on the creature's flesh is an acceptable alternative. The purpose of this rite is to ensure that the creature does not mystically rise again, and to protect the surrounding lands from any evil that might be unleashed as its soul travels to Dolor. This rite is frequently ignored. Since adventuring or martial purified often slay such creatures in the midst of larger battles and cannot take the time to perform it immediately. Some attempt to return afterward and do so, but the opportunity is not always available. Illness. Lighting silverburn candles around a sick friend or relative while praying is said to attract the silver flame's attention. If it is time for the sick person's soul to join the flame, no amount of supplication will prevent it. But if not, this ceremony hopes to purge the illness from the victim and return him to health. Evil injury. A purified who is injured by an evil being is required to sprinkle silver into the wound and cauterize it with a silver-burned flame. If magical healing is not available, this gesture symbolizes her will to resist evil and petitions the flame to prevent any possible corruption from traveling to her soul through the wound. Funerals are minor rites. The only 2 life events requiring major priestly attention are births and weddings. Weddings among the purified are always conducted during one of the high holy days, rather than forming ceremonies unto themselves. Only the birth of a child to a purified couple is cause for a ceremony unaffiliated with a particular holiday. This is the only major rite that is not strictly defined by religious doctrine. While the priests must say certain specific prayers and light silver-burn candles in a particular pattern, the remainder of the ritual hymns, any specific dances, particular sermons, is up to the parents. Expecting couples normally meet with their priest months in advance to arrange the service as they wish. The symbolism behind this is readily discerned. Not even the greatest priest can foretell what will happen in life. So it is not the Church's place to determine how a newborn child enters the world. The faith contains one weekly celebration, the First day of each week. It's called the Day of Cleansing Fire. For most of the purified, the flame is honored on this day by skipping a single meal in favor of prayers of devotion and repentance. For priests and especially devout followers, the entire day is one of fasting and prayer. Second only to Empertide. The Day of Cleansing Fire is a religious holiday in the larger cities of Thrain, and many shops are closed. The service always begins with a recitation of the 9 miracles of the silver flame, spoken in Draconic. The precise nature of these miracles varies a bit from sect to sect and church to church, but for the most part consists of the following: bringing light to the world, imprisoning demons, offering souls an afterlife beyond Dolor, granting cleric magic, bonding with Terra Moran, transforming Thrain into a holy nation, victory over the lycanthropes, victory in the last war, the promise of the end of evil, and the creation of a better world to come. Other than births and the Day of Cleansing, the Silver Flame uses major rites to celebrate 13 high holy days. Each of these days is marked by specific prayers and rites. Rebirth Eve. The Purified New Year Rebirth Eve occurs on the winter solstice. It celebrates the passing of the longest night, when the world begins its slow journey toward light and warmth. The faithful stay up the entire night, holding spiritual vigil and guarding against evil, and spend the following day in rest or celebration, as they sci-fi tea, Bright Souls Day, as the dark days of winter draw to a close. The purified celebrate the lives and the sacrifice of every follower of the flame who died fighting evil and protecting the faithful. Those who have lost relatives in the past 5 years perform the funeral right on the gravesite, while everyone else sings paeans of gratitude to the fallen. On this day, the purified are forbidden to use artificial or magical light sources, except in emergencies. They enjoy the day and accept the fall of night, as those who have died experienced life and did not fear death. Defender's Day. This holiday commemorates the bonding of Tira Moran with the flame and the creation of the nation of Thrain. Devout purified will sometimes venerate statues of Tira, though this is frowned upon by most priests as a form of idolatry. Feast of the Flame, a joyous festival of music, dancing, and bonfires. Followers of the Silver Flame hold this to be the greatest of their holidays. Houses are decorated, children receive gifts, and some purified choose to take vows of devotion at this time. Midwinter's Might. The anniversary of Tira Moran slaying the demon lord grazed in single combat. On this day, the purified practice martial training and tactics in preparation for the coming of the demon lord's avatar. Grassed on Defender's Day. Festival of the Hunt. While they do not hunt for sport, the purified are called to defend innocents from harm. This day honors the slayers of evil beasts and marks the beginning of purified hunts for lycanthropes and other evil humanoids. Harvest of the Flame. Following the military campaigns of midsummer, the purified are reminded of the importance of peacetime activities. Communities give thanks for bountiful crops and silver trees bear fruit. In addition to these major and minor rituals, the purified keep their faiths alive with holy symbols, churches and temples, shrines and relics, oaths and vows. The following sections describe some of the most common ways that the purified manifest their devotion. Holy symbols. The most popular holy symbol of the Silver Flame is a stylized representation of the sun, either as a circle with rays extending outward or as a pentagram. This represents the ability of the Silver Flame to banish darkness, both physical and spiritual. The shape is also similar to the Thrainian crest, which features a silver sunburst on a field of blue, a reminder of the nation's founding. A holy symbol of the Silver Flame grants a +1 circumstance bonus on saving throws against spells and abilities that deal cold damage. Lesser clergy typically wear a pendant or brooch bearing this symbol, while higher clergy often display it on a banner or shield. Churches and temples, with no clerics lower than 5th level allowed to oversee their construction. The temples of the Silver Flame are generally grander than those of other faiths. Even the smallest Silver Flame church is built of quarried stone and reinforced with iron. Towers often adorn these buildings, symbolizing the power of the Silver Flame to pierce the darkness of evil. Larger temples boast intricate carvings depicting scenes from the history of Thrain, the deeds of legendary heroes, or the destruction of demonic and undead foes, shrines and relics. While other faiths might build shrines to house relics of saints or martyrs, the purified are generally not interested in relics, regarding the material remains of the dead as vessels for evil spirits. There are exceptions, however, especially when these objects were used in the destruction of greater evils. Thus, a sword or mace imbued with the power of the Silver Flame, capable of turning the tide of battle against hordes of evil creatures, might be placed in a shrine for veneration. Such places are rare, however, and the vast majority of purified regard relics with suspicion. Oaths and vows. The purified often take oaths and vows to strengthen their resolve against evil. Common oaths include swearing to never use magic to harm another, to kill any evil creature encountered without hesitation, or to perform daily acts of charity. Vows are taken more seriously, often requiring a sacred ceremony and lasting for weeks, months, or even years. A vow of silence, for example, might last for an entire year, during which time the purified makes their devotions in secret, seeking to root out evil thoughts from their own heart.